This is KGW News at 11.
Good evening, and let's get right to breaking news on this Friday night with significant power outages across southeast Portland. It appears in connection with a fire at an electrical substation. Right now, Pacific Power reporting nearly 8,000 customers without power in both southeast and northeast parts of the city. PGE reporting another 3,000 customers in the dark in that part of the Rose City.
Let's bring in Catherine Cook now at Southeast 60th and Stark. Catherine, what can you tell us about all this?
Laurel and David, Portland Fire and Rescue say this is an electrical substation fire. This happened around 9:30 tonight, and you can see this is still a very active scene. We have several crews from Portland Fire and Rescue here. They tell me that it appears to be a transformer that blew. Neighbors report seeing a giant orange ball in the sky and several loud explosions, followed by a lot of black smoke in the sky, and then obviously a lot of power outages in the area. Traffic lights went off. Several neighbors lost power. We saw people diverting traffic as they deal with this mess. We're not exactly sure what caused the transformer fire, but again, Portland Fire and Rescue and PGE are here trying to sort things out. And they recommend that people just avoid the scene entirely. It's pretty dangerous, and they'd like to get the job done. We'll send it back to you.
Catherine Cook in Southeast Portland. Thank you, Catherine. What a night. And as we look at PGE's full outage map, you can see about 11,000 customers impacted by outages that flared up this evening. Really, in just the last couple of hours, numbers are changing minute by minute. But again, they're reporting at least 3,000 of those due to what Catherine was talking about, what's going on in Southeast Portland. You can also see substantial outages in Gresham and even up into the Cascades.
Yeah, people on social media talking about the traffic lights flashing several times when the explosion happened, reported explosion. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino now.
And Matt, the rainfall totals, the winds, just incredible in some spots.
It's really been wild, and while it's beginning to show signs of breaking up, it hasn't yet. We're not out of it yet, although I do see the end approaching us, if you will, or at least a slowdown in all this. But that atmospheric river continues to just pound its way right into the northwest. When you look at Doppler radar, you want to see signs of a change, right? We had this kind of circle around us for really all afternoon. We still have some heavy rain, pardon me, over in the Cascades basically. But if I zoom out a little bit, you'll be able to see that there is a back line here, and that's what's approaching us. The rain has really lightened up across the Puget Sound in western Washington, although they're dealing with power outages up there as well. Look at these rainfall totals and the wind gusts, first of all. Mount Hood, 7,000 feet, peak gusts of 129 miles an hour. Several hours, about 6-7 hours in a row, the gusts were all over 100 miles an hour. Timberline had a gust of 54, Coast Range 55, and Portland 43, highest gusts I've seen in town. That was on the Fremont Bridge. Now the rainfall amounts, 1.84. We're just 0.03 of an inch shy of our record for the date. We'll get there by midnight. I'm pretty confident of that. Scappoose, over 3 inches of rain. That's a record. And up at Astoria, 4.3 inches. That more than doubles the old record rainfall for this date. So that just gives you an indication as to the magnitude, the severity, and how rare this event really is. Now, here's the current modeling, and this is for 11 o'clock right now. It still shows the heavy rain just on our southeast doorstep. Mind you, this is different from what it looked like, say, 6 hours ago when it had this already pushing out. So it's behaving and performing a little slower than what we had expected. But by 1 a.m., the heavy rain is moving out. It should actually stop raining potentially for a bit later on tonight. Then the next system comes in early Sunday morning, but that won't be like this one. This is not an atmospheric river, but it will be a strong cold front with snow in the Cascades and still some heavy rain. So again, the rainfall totals amazing. Nearly 9 inches at Bull Run, 7.5 inches on Mount St. Helens, 5 inches at Larch Mountain. For that reason, we've got flash flood watches around the fire burns, including the Eagle Creek fire from a couple of years ago. That could still produce some flash flooding. So heavy rain tapering off from north to south tonight. Winds will ease overnight. And again, we're looking at heavy snow in the Cascades this weekend. That'll be a nice change, guys.
Yeah, you told us this weather event was going to be something, and it sure has. Thank you, Matt. Let's head back out now and check in with our Alma McCarty. She's in Drive 8 this evening.
Alma, tell us where you're at and what you're seeing right now.
Well, we are currently in East Portland. I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around so you can see what I am seeing. The roads aren't really wet at this point. What is significant right now, we are heading west on Burnside, I should say, is the number of lights that are out currently on this road and in these neighborhoods that are directly off of Burnside. We are told, as you had mentioned before, that there are thousands of outages affecting many customers in this area.
This is a little bit of a dress rehearsal for winter.
Throughout the day and across the city, people braced for the possibility of heavy wind and rain from the atmospheric river. Dozens of PBOT crews worked overtime to get ahead of flooding issues.
We have 9 different Vector trucks, they're called. These they have the vacuum hose attached to them and tanks that can unclog a storm drain.
Dylan Rivera, a spokesperson for the Bureau, encourages residents to clear storm drains around their homes, but says to give them a call should the flooding issues get worse. On the Columbia, the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office attributes strong winds to a floating home's escape. No one was inside at the time, and the house came to rest around Marine Park on the Washington state side. Over in the Sellwood area,
this big historic chestnut tree came down and it took the big high voltage wires with it.
Workers spent most of the day dealing with this tree, now in pieces, while restoring the power. Neighbor Jeff Trentham said it fell this morning around 7:45. Despite the damage, including a smashed car, he says it could have been much worse.
At 7:45 in the morning, there's always a parade of kids and their parents going to Llewellyn School, and today was like in-service day, I guess. So, yeah, we lucked out, and so it's just been, cleaning up the mess and getting the wires hooked back up.
As for the outages, which at one point topped 14,000 customers across our region, crews from PGE to Pacific Power were ready to respond.
That's what we do, is be on the ready and be trained and have the equipment ready to go.
Now we could tell you firsthand that all of these crews were working pretty hard earlier today as we were going from scene to check stuff out. We would get there and the crews would be done working, but obviously they have a lot more work to do given all of the outages this evening. I should mention at this point, though, another good reminder from PBOT: if the traffic lights are out, make sure you treat that as a 4-way stop. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Alma. Stay safe out there. Looks like some street lights are on, traffic lights out. A lot going on in East Portland tonight. Let's head to the coast now, where folks who are used to big storms were literally hanging onto their hats.
Earlier tonight, Catherine Cook was in Astoria. She shows us the conditions there and how people are managing the stormy weather.
Coastal winds and heavy rain as the atmospheric river runs through Astoria.
Well, you just hunker down.
Greg Spear says it's been a rough day and a half along the coast, especially where he lives.
The wind is blowing so hard on my house right now, I can hear it, and it's just rattling the doors and everything. So I think we hit 40-mile-an-hour gusts last night.
Actually, last night was pretty hardcore, but today was fine. Just light wind, rain.
Light is not exactly how these ladies would describe it.
I have rain pants and Gore-Tex, and even the Gore-Tex failed.
Well, it's blowing around a lot, and it's flipped backwards a few times, and my hood won't stay up, so I'm stuck using the umbrella.
Wait for it.
Oh, oh, oh.
Hang on tight.
I'm expecting tonight to be another wild ride, if you will.
In Astoria, Catherine Cook, KGW News.